जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौरभक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौरभक्त वृंद। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते हे गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी शुभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय पंच कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषवादी वाचालम पंगुम वंदे पातमहं वंदे श्री गुरुं नितारणं परमानंद माधवम श्री चैतन्य। Hare Krishna. Thank you. We are discussing the concluding section of the Madhya Lila. We had a short break, and this is chapter 25 of the Madhya Lila, which is the concluding chapter of Madhya Lila. So, this is the part of the pastime where Lord Chaitanya, after delivering all the residents of Varanasi, the Lord now, what happens to the Lord's subsequent Leela after he leaves Varanasi is what is concluded in this chapter. I'm going to just briefly recap and then we will continue the story. So, Lord Chaitanya, in Lord Chaitanya's preaching pastimes, the most challenging part in terms of making people devotees was at Kashi. Why? Because Kashi is the capital of the Mayavadis. And no one was initially very keen to accept the fruits of prema which Lord Chaitanya had come to give. But nonetheless, as Lord Chaitanya himself very beautifully put it to his own close devotees at Varanasi, he told them, because you want Krishna's devotional service so much to be given to the residents of Kashi, especially these Mayavadi sannyasis, this fruit of prema that I actually came to sell, I decided to give it away free. And net, we discussed this past time in great detail. The Lord transformed the hearts not only of the sannyasis, the Mayavadi sannyasis headed by Prakashanand Saraswati, but when they were transformed and when they were dancing along with Lord Chaitanya publicly, all the residents of Kashi took to the process of chanting the holy names. So the Lord was very, very happy, and eventually the Lord decided to continue further his Leela from Varanasi. At that time, Lord Chaitanya, because he had spent a considerable time there instructing Sanatan Goswami, we spent so much time discussing these beautiful pastimes. Lord Chaitanya instructed Sanatan Goswami, you go towards Vrindavan. I have seva for you. You had my association, you had my instructions, I have given you pact association and pact instructions at the bank of the Dashashwamedha Ghat in Varanasi. I instructed you for days and days and days in the matters of devotional service. Now my service is write books, excavate the places of the Lord's pastime. Go to Vrindavan. Your brother Rupa and Anupam, I already sent them there. You go. And he told Sanatan Goswami one more thing. that most of my devotees, they are very poor. They don't have anything. So they will go to Vrindavan. When they are in Vrindavan, you take care of them. You are from a ministerial background. You have some savings which you have kept for emergency. So those days, Vrindavan wasn't what it is today. It was practically a forest. Not even a village, practically a forest. Very few people staying. So he said, you take care of them, you help them. So Lord Chaitanya embraced Sanatan and all the devotees. And when the Lord embraced them, they went into ecstasy and they fainted. And then Lord Chaitanya continued to go towards Vrindavan alone. He forbade anybody. Nobody will follow me. I want to go alone. I want to go back through the Jharikhand forest and have my pastimes. But I want to do this alone. I don't want anybody to come. So meanwhile, the scene has changed. We discussed this already. I'm doing a quick flashback. Rup Goswami was at Mathura. At Mathura, on the bank of the Yamuna river, he met this devotee, Subuddhi Rai, at a place known as Dhruvaghat. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gives a quick flashback. Like in a movie, they have a flashback. They show a character and then there's a flashback story. Who is this character? Subuddhi Rai. So Subuddhi Rai, at this particular point, when Rupa Goswami meets him, is very elderly. He's like a father figure in terms of generation to Rupa and Sanatan. He's an elderly person. So the flashback story is Subuddhi Rai is a very, very big landlord, zamindar in Bengal in those days, in ancient times. Zamindars, practically billionaires by today's considerations. So this particular Bengali zamindar, he had a servant. His name was Subuddhi Rai, and he had a servant by the name of Sayyid Hussain Khan. And the Sayyid Hussain Khan was one day, along with others, engaged in a labor job of digging a lake. So in ancient times, when you wanted a reservoir of water, one is to dig a well. If there is no groundwater, you dig a lake, let rainwater gather, and that's how water was conserved in that particular area. So he was digging a lake. And some mistake this Sayyid Hussain Khan made, and as a punishment, Subuddhi Rai, who was overseeing, supervising this particular excavation, he took a whip and struck him. And somehow that striking was so hard that it actually left an indelible injury mark on the back of this particular Hussain Khan, Sayyid Hussain Khan. Actually, Subuddhi Rai and his servants, actually they had a very affectionate relationship because Subuddhi Rai was very kind at heart. Somehow this, by the Lord's arrangement, somehow this particular incident happened where he had hurt him, but otherwise he was very affectionate to all his servants. Despite Sayyid Hussain Khan being a Muslim, Subuddhi Rai, who was from a Brahmana family, was very, very affectionate. In due course of time, somehow this very Sayyid Hussain Khan, who was just a laborer, employee of Subuddhi Rai, went on to become appointed as the Nawab of Bengal by the emperor of the Muslim government. And even after that happened, Subuddhi Rai and this Sayyid Hussain Khan had a very nice relationship. Nawab Hussain Shah, you've all heard of Nawab Hussain Shah. So this Nawab Hussain Shah was once the servant of Subuddhi Rai. And even after being a Nawab, they had a very nice relationship. This Nawab Hussain Shah had no sense of animosity. In due course, of course, this Nawab got married and his wife saw these marks on the body of her husband and she was very upset. It was interfering with her enjoyment. So she was so angry that she would pester her husband. Who is this person who did this to you? He said, oh no, old master, this one. You must kill him. You must kill him. He said, no, no, he's like my father. How can I kill him? And such a small thing. I still have an affectionate relationship with him. No. Either you punish him or I leave you and go. Of course, this went on for many days and he was avoiding until finally he realized he cannot avoid this. So finally, the wife said, you don't want to kill him? Then last option. You cause him to lose his caste. For a Brahman, for a Hindu Brahman, to lose his caste is as good as death. You can do that. And what you should do, just go to him and just sprinkle some water from your juta pot. His caste will be lost. So the Hindu community was very orthodox in those days. Just if somebody ate in the house of a Muslim or some water was sprinkled from a pot from where Muslim had drunk water, they would say the caste is lost. Uh, I mean, Shastras don't say something like this. But anyway, that was how the whole social system had evolved. And unwillingly, this Nawab Hussain Shah obliged his wife just to save his own marriage. He went and sprinkled water on Subuddhi Rai. And the whole community excommunicated Subuddhi Rai, Muslim. So he had no choice. Very aristocratic. This is how Hindus hurt themselves by this kind of foolishness in those days. This is how so many Hindus became Muslim because it was so easy. All that a Muslim had to do was come and sprinkle water and you become Muslim. That's all. Anyway, that's the history. Hopefully Hindus are wiser now. So Subuddhi Rai, when he was faced with this calamity, he was practically excommunicated and he was thinking what to do. Subuddhi Rai was thinking parallelly, now that this has happened and this is the will of the Lord that this has happened, anyway I wanted to retire and spend the rest of my life in Krishna consciousness. Good. Maybe this is Krishna's indication that enough of Grahasthashram. Now I must take Vanaprastha and then sannyas. Prabhupada would interpret the same way, right? When his business failed and in his dream, his spiritual master would come again and again. Take sannyas, take sannyas. So yes, this is Krishna's mercy on me that my business is failing. A true devotee sees like that. A true devotee sees calamity as Krishna's prodding. Surrender, surrender, surrender. So he left his business, he left his family and went to Varanasi. So when he went to Varanasi, he met very learned Brahmins there. And he told them that this is what has happened. I have been forcefully converted to Islam because of this thing that has happened. How do I get back my caste? Some Brahmins told him, no, the only way you can get back is you have to drink boiling hot ghee. Huh? When you drink boiling hot ghee, then you will die by the boiling hot ghee. And then you'll be purified of this contamination of drinking, of being sprinkled by this water. Then next life you can become Brahmana again. He was pretty shocked. What kind of a atonement is this? He went to other Brahmanas and they said, no, 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 not necessary to do all these things. Not such a big fault. So many different people giving different opinions. So he was very confused what to do. Finally, because Lord Chaitanya was also in Varanasi, he took shelter of Lord Chaitanya and asked the Lord, oh Lord, please tell me what is my duty? What should I do? Should I drink ghee and die? Lord Chaitanya said, no need to do anything like this. There is one medicine for any kind of material infection. And that medicine is Harinam. Harir Nama, Harir Nama, Harir Nama, Eva Kevalam Kalau Nasteva Nasteva Nasteva. Begin chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna Mahamantra destroys all sins, cleanses the heart. Finally, when all sins are cleared through chanting and the heart becomes pure, your chanting will become pure. And when chanting will become pure, Krishna Prema will come in your heart and you will attain spiritual perfection. And once you become transcendental to material nature, when prema comes, nothing of the material world can touch you. This is the best solution for all kinds of sinful activity. Just take shelter of the holy name. Go to Vrindavan. Lord Chaitanya instructed him. Go to Vrindavan. What are you doing in Varanasi? I came to preach. You should become devotee. Why are you in Varanasi? Go to Vrindavan. So it is said, Lord Chaitanya instructed him to go to Vrindavan. So Subuddhi Raya at that time, instructed by Lord Chaitanya, he went, left Varanasi, he went through Prayag, through Ayodhya, to Naimisharanya, towards Vrindavan. He stayed for a few days in Naimisharanya before he went to Braj. Around the same time, Lord Chaitanya also left Varanasi and he went to Vrindavan. And from Vrindavan, after staying for a few days, Lord Chaitanya then went to Prayag. So somehow the timing, because Subuddhi Rai spent a few days in Naimisharanya, by the time Lord Chaitanya had already left Vrindavan. Subuddhi Rai finally came to Mathura and then he found out from the locals Lord Chaitanya was here and he was, oh, I just missed him. He's already gone to Prayag. So he was very, very unhappy. Anyway, Subuddhi Rai being instructed, Lord Chaitanya became his guru, he gave him instruction. He asked him to chant the holy name, he asked him to lead the life of a Vairagi. It is said Subuddhi Rai just collect some few dry wood from the forest in Braj. He would go to the city of Mathura, just sell some dry wood, and he would just, for one load of wood, he would get 5 or 6 paise in those days. 5 or 6 paise. Of course, those are from my generation, I've seen paise, but the newer, younger generation, I've not seen paise only, probably, their life. I've seen 5 paise. I've used 5 paise for bus tickets also when I was very young in school. Of course, 5 paise in 500 years ago was not very small. So what would he do with 5 paise? 5 paise was a fair amount of money for in those days. What he would do, out of those 5 paise, 1 paisa he would take, 1 paisa, and he would buy fried chickpeas, chana, fried chana. Why? Just to fill something simple, just to keep his body and soul together. And the remaining 4 paise or whatever was left, he would deposit with a merchant in Mathura, like a bank deposit. In those days, there was no bank, so there would be sahukars, there would be shopkeepers who would accept deposits. I don't think they would give, I don't know whether they would give interest or not, but they would accept deposits and then these people would come and, whenever they needed money, they would come to him and they would withdraw. So why he would do that? Even though he was a Bairagi, he was saving money because he was very interested in serving Vaishnavas. Why serving Vaishnavas? Just like Lord Chaitanya had instructed Sanatan Goswami, Subuddhi Rai also saw that the Bengali Vaishnavas who would be coming to Vrindavan, they needed a lot of support. They were very, very poor. So he would do few kinds of services. Whatever money he would save, he would supply yogurt to the Bengalis who came to Mathura. And he would give them cooked rice. Prabhupada explains why he would give cooked rice and yogurt. Because the Bengali Vaishnavas, Bengalis are used to eating rice. They are not into rotis. When they would come to Vrindavan, all they would get is only rotis. So Bengali Vaishnavas would not feel very comfortable just eating rotis. So he would make some cooked rice for them. And also when they would have indigestion and other things, then he would give them this yogurt. So he would serve the Vaishnavas by taking care of them, so that they would be comfortable, their food and their health would be taken care so that they can do their yatra of Braj very nicely. Also, Bengalis are very fond of oil massage, mustard oil massage. So he would also arrange for oil massage for these Bengali Vaishnavas. Especially those who do long parikramas, like Govardhan Hill and all this. Prabhupada would love massage as well. Prabhupada would say that it really helps him to keep in good health. So Bengalis like massage. There is nothing like a wonderful oil massage after doing Govardhan Parikrama. The body becomes so, if you walk 21 kilometers, after that, if somebody gives you a foot massage, oh, it is like heaven. So he was very sensitive. See, devotees don't think, oh, Prabhu, you are just the body. Why should I bother about your food? Why should I bother about your health? Huh? That is not the mentality of a devotee. Because a devotee uses his body, mind, and soul all for Krishna's service, when we look at devotees, we take care of them holistically. And that is all service to Krishna. So he would use his savings, 1 paisa chickpeas for himself, and the rest of the money he would. So 80% of his income from the wood selling would be for Vaishnav Shiva. It's a very important principle. If one can chant the holy name and serve the Vaishnavas, this is the perfect combo. What more you need? Of course, if you can preach, you preach also. Lord Chaitanya's 3 instructions are Name Ruchi, Vaishnav Seva, Jivdaya. The sum and substance of all teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are these 3. Name Ruchi, taste in chanting the holy name. Vaishnav Seva, serving the Vaishnavas. And Jivadaya, giving Krishna consciousness to the innocent common people. If you cannot do all 3, at least do 2. Vaishnav Seva and holy name. If you are not fortunate to get the opportunity to do Vaishnav Seva, at least do Nirantar Nama Jap, chanting the holy name. And at least don't criticize anyone. Anyone, not just devotees, of course, especially devotees, but anyone. Lord Chaitanya once instructed one of the devotees, he asked, how to perfect one's life? Lord Chaitanya said, chant the holy name always and never criticize anyone. If you do this, if you follow this formula, very soon you will achieve Krishna's mercy. A devotee must be beyond the tendency of finding fault in others. It's very important. Service to Vaishnava is a higher level, but at least the hygiene principle is don't do ninda. Definitely not of devotees, but not of anybody. So this is the character we all have to work towards. Anyway, so Subuddhi Raya was a wonderful example of Vaishnava Seva and Namaruchi. So when Rupa Goswami came to Mathura, Subuddhi Raya was so happy. Now, Subuddhi Raya was so happy when Rupa Goswami came. Why? Because Subuddhi Raya knew Rupa and Sanatan from Bengal, from earlier times. How did he know them? Because Rupa and Sanatan were ministers of Nawab Hussain Shah. And he was a close friend of Nawab Hussain Shah before all this unfortunate scandal happened. Because Nawab Hussain Shah and Subuddhi Raya at a personal level, before the wife came in and spoiled everything, they had a very good affectionate relationship. He was a big, huge billionaire, zamindar, and he was Nawab. And these were the Nawab's ministers, so they were, through that political connection, and they had a personal, affectionate relationship. They knew each other. So I was so happy when Rup Goswami also came. Yes, finally I have somebody from, my previous acquaintance. I wanted to serve him so much. Personally, he told Rupa Goswami, you have come new to Vraj, I will give you parikrama of Vrindavan. It says Subuddhi Raya took Rupa Goswami across the 12 forests of Vrindavan. For 1 month, it is said Rupa Goswami remained in the area of Mathura Vrindavan along with Subuddhi Raya. After that, seeing that Sanatan Goswami is not there in Braj, Rup Goswami went searching for Sanatan Goswami. Goswami and Anupam went searching for Sanatan Goswami. And where was Sanatan Goswami coming? He was coming from Varanasi to Vrindavan. And these people went from Vrindavan out searching for him. Sanatan Goswami came from a different route. These people came from a different route. So their paths didn't cross. They wanted to meet each other, but they were headed in opposite directions. That's the Lord's arrangement. So Sanatan Goswami reached Vrindavan, and Rupa and Anupam had gone left Vrindavan in search of Sanatan Goswami. Subuddhi Rai met Sanatan Goswami. He was so happy. Oh, Sanatan, you are here. And he told actually Rupa and Anupam I met, and they were here, and they went along this road. Oh, you came along this road. Oh, that's why you didn't meet them. Okay, never mind. They will eventually come. Huh? But Subuddhi Rai was so eager because he was always wanting to serve the Vaishnavas. He wanted to serve Sanatan Goswami. He wanted to cook for him. He wanted to arrange oil massage for him. To do this. Sanatan Goswami. Sanatan Goswami was one of those very, very strict renunciates. No body pampering. He was not interested in receiving. He had an affectionate relationship, but he didn't want to accept all this service from Subuddhi Rai. Sanatan Goswami's style in Braj. Sanatan Goswami was in Braj. Huh? What is Sanatan Goswami's style? He would just drink some water from Yamuna. He would just wander from forest to forest. He would never stay in a house. Sleep under a different tree every day or under a bush. Normally, what is human tendency? Huh? We want to sleep in the same place and we want to make that same place better and better and better, better over time. Sanatan Goswami, he would not even sleep under the same tree because he would think, oh, what if I get attached? Correct? To the tree, to sleeping under the tree. Huh? Isn't it human nature? Sometimes we sit at a particular place, or we park our car in a particular place, or we always go at a particular time to a particular. If somebody else happens to be there, why are you here? This is my place. Actually, we have no claim over the place. This is my parking. This is my seat. Huh? Such a strong tendency to get attached. Sanatan Goswami said, not even under a tree. He said, I will not. After some time, otherwise I will feel this is my place. So even in Vrindavan, he would not sleep under the same tree more than one night. He would just accept a little bit Madhukari. The Brajvasis would just give him some atta, little bit. He would just mix it in Yamuna water, make a small ball out of it, put it in a wooden fire, take it a little bit, and just eat a little bit. That's about it. And the other thing Sanatan Goswami was doing was because he was instructed by Lord Chaitanya to excavate the holy places of pilgrimage in Braj, he would go and try to collect and research books, anything which had any written material about the geography of the area and the ancient history of the area, trying to excavate the various places of Krishna's pastime. So Sanatan Goswami was doing all this service in Braj, while Rupa Goswami and Anupam went all the way looking for him and went to Varanasi. So Rupa Goswami reached Varanasi, and there they met the Maharashtrian Brahman. They met Chandrasekhar, they met Tapan Mishra, and they told him, Arey, you are here, your brother went there looking for you. He was instructed by, oh, is it? So they had prasad at the house of Tapan Mishra. They also found out from Tapan Mishra and all the devotees what pastimes Lord Chaitanya performed in Varanasi. That Sanatan Goswami was instructed for practically a month by Lord Chaitanya at Dashashwamedh Ghat in Varanasi. Lord Chaitanya delivered Prakashanand Saraswati and all the Mayavadis. All of Kashi is chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram. Goswami was so happy. He said, yes, my long travel to Kashi is fruitful that I am hearing these wonderful pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. He became very, very happy that the Lord had achieved such wonderful feat, which was unheard of for thousands of years at Kashi. He could see how much love and respect all the people of Kashi had towards Lord Chaitanya in terms of their behavior, whoever he met. Then Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, of course, eventually then Rupa and Sanatan come back Rupa and Anupam come back to Vrindavan. But now Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami describes about Lord Chaitanya's travel back. So Lord Chaitanya, his end destination was Puri. Because Lord Chaitanya was traveling all over. He wanted to go back to Puri because Puri is supposed to be his primary residence. Alone he was traveling. Of course, he had one assistant whose name was Balabhadra Bhattacharya, whom he had accepted when he went on his tour as his assistant. Right? So along with Balabhadra Bhattacharya, they went through the forest and the Lord performed many beautiful pastimes again on his way back through the Jharikanda forest. Finally, after performing beautiful pastimes, Lord Chaitanya finally reached the outskirts of Jagannath Puri. So when we enter into Jagannath Puri, the landmark which marks the border of Jagannath Puri is a place known as Athar Nala. Athar Nala, it's an arched bridge with 18 pillars. Athara Nala, 18 pillars. So Lord Chaitanya reached there with Balabhadra Bhattacharya. The Lord rested there. And the Lord instructed Balabhadra Bhattacharya. He said, go inside Puri and inform all my devotees and associates that I have arrived. The devotees were already, for so long they were waiting for Lord Chaitanya. They were missing Lord Chaitanya's association. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami said they were almost like dead and they had lost their consciousness, separation from the Lord. So when they heard from Balabhadra Bhattacharya, Lord Chaitanya is returned, it's as if a dying man gets back his life. So they were so overwhelmed, they all gathered, yes, Lord Chaitanya is like, come, all in hordes they ran towards the Tharnala. So they all met Lord Chaitanya, then they brought Lord Chaitanya with them to this very beautiful lake known as Narendra Sarovar. Narendra Sarovar is the place where a lot of beautiful bathing pastimes has happened with the Lord. They all took bath there at Narendra Sarovar. Very senior sannyasis who are like the godbrothers of Lord Chaitanya's Guru, Paramananda Puri, Brahmananda Bharati, they came and they met Lord Chaitanya and the Lord offered obeisances to them and they embraced Lord Chaitanya out of great affection. All others, so many senior devotees after devotees, Sarup Damodar, Gadadhar Pandit, Jagadananda, Kashishwar, Govinda, Vakreshwar Pandit, all came to meet the Lord. Kashi Mishra, Pradyumna Mishra, Damodar Pandit, Haridas Thakur, Shankar Pandit, so many great devotees in Puri, all one after another. They were all just feeling so much separation from Lord Chaitanya. They all came, they fell at the Lord's feet, and Lord Chaitanya embraced each one of them with great ecstatic love. They all merged into an ocean. Can we even imagine what kind of bliss is to be embraced personally by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? After this beautiful pastimes of taking bath at Narendra Sarovar and embracing all the devotees, the Lord said, now I want to go and take darshan of Jagannath. I've taken a bath after my travel. Now I want to see Jagannath. So they all together, along with Lord Chaitanya, they went towards the temple of Jagannath to take darshan. Lord Chaitanya, when he saw Jagannath, again after a long time, his heart was so overwhelmed with love and affection. Chanting and dancing for a long time in front of Lord Jagannath. Priests were so happy to see Lord Chaitanya and all these associates finally together. They brought garlands of Jagannath, they brought prasad. The watchman of the temple, his name was Tulasi. He came after because he was seeing the Lord after a long time. He offered obeisances. The news of Lord Chaitanya's return spread all across Puri and so many devotees. Sarabham Bhattacharya came running, Ramanand Rai, Vaninath Rai, they all came. After a long kirtan, Lord Chaitanya finally said, okay, now I want to go to my residence in Puri. Which is the residence? The house of Kashi Mishra. The Lord went to the house of Kashi Mishra. So the devotees, especially Sarvam Bhattacharya and Pandit Goswami, they invited the Lord, oh Lord, please First, you have lunch before you go to the house of Kashi Mishra. Have lunch in our house. So, Lord Chaitanya said, okay, but let's do this. So many devotees are here. I want to have prasad with all of them. Bring enough prasad of Jagannath so all of us can have there together. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Pandit Goswami brought huge quantities of Jagannath's Mahaprasad. And they all honored Jagannath's Prasad together. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, with this arrival at Puri or return of Lord Chaitanya with Puri, the travel pastimes of Lord Chaitanya come to a closure. 6 years. For first 24 years, the Lord was a Grihastha, then he took sannyas. Then for 6 years, he came to Puri. Then for 6 years, he was traveling all over, various places. We discussed so many travels. Most of Madhya Lila that we have been discussing now, I don't know for how many months we have been discussing, is this 6 year period of Lord Chaitanya's travels. Very extensively traveled. He went to South India, he went to Varanasi, he went to Prayag, and through the Jharkhand forest, where he preached and he delivered. That is the Lord's preaching Lila. Early in his life as a Grihastha, he did preaching in Navadvip. Then after he became a sannyasi, he did preaching all over India. After 6 years, the Lord finally came back to Puri. And now the Madhya Lila. So 24 years plus 6 years is equal to how many? 30. The Lord is now only 30 years old. I mean, the Lord is eternal. There is no lie. But in terms of how much time he has spent on the planet. Very young, right? 30. And the Lord's entire pastimes on this planet is 48 years. That's all. Just 48. 24 years he was Grihastha. 24 years he was Grihastha means Brahmachari and Grihastha. And then 24 years he was sannyasi. Which he was, which is his Puri pastime. But out of the 24 years of his Puri residence, 6 years after he reached Puri, very soon after reaching Puri, he went for 6 years to travel, comes back to Puri. The next 18 years of the Lord's pastimes, which are his final years from the age of 30 to the age of 48, is what is known as the Antya Leela of Lord Chaitanya. Because that entire period, Lord Chaitanya remained in Jagannath Puri. So after he came back, the Lord says, my preaching pastimes are done. I have given instructions to Rup Sanatan. They will write books. They will excavate Braj. Now, the internal reason for which I have appeared, the Lord wants to fulfill. What is the internal reason? To continuously taste the nectar of Radha Bhavaduti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. Krishna, who is covered by the complexion of the bhava of Radharani, wants to continuously experience the nectar of what Radharani experiences when she sees Krishna. That's the internal reason of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. He wants to now taste that. He has done his preaching pastimes. Now he wants to taste. Now he just wants to be absorbed. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Not just chanting the way we chant, but absorbed in the intense feelings of separation that Radharani is experiencing in separation from Krishna. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ends this chapter by saying, whoever hears Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes with faith and love, very soon attains shelter at the Lord's lotus feet. Haribo. So that's the blessing for all of you. That is why it is worth coming for class. Even though it is a Sunday evening or a Saturday evening. And these are serious blessings. We should not take this lightly. What great personalities like this, like Krishnadas Kaviraj and others say, or the Lord says, is a contract which the Lord will honor at any cost. These are not small benedictions, these are big benedictions. This is all small trouble that we go through is more than compensated millions of times over by these kind of blessings. And then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, in his own humble style, he says, I have just given a brief description of Madhya Lila. Lord traveled for 6 years, I have given a brief description. So much is there more to say, but how much can I write? And he just concludes the Madhya Lila by saying, 6 years the Lord traveled. I have summarized. Now the remaining years, the Lord fixed his residence in Puri, 18 years. And what was his role? 18 years he was simply absorbed in chanting the holy name in the association of his very intimate, close associates. So in this way the chapter concludes. Actually, at the very end of this chapter, the last 20-30 verses, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami summarizes the whole Madhya Lila. First chapter I spoke about this, second chapter I spoke about this, third chapter I spoke about this. He summarizes just so that we get a quick recap of everything that happened in the Madhya Lila. So I'm not going to go into that. You can read that, and we will stop here. And next class onwards, of course, next week we will discuss on Saturday Srimad Bhagavatam. For the subsequent class, we will resume Chaitanya Charitamrita. We will be starting with Antya Lila, final pastimes. The last 18 years of the Lord's Lila. So I'm going to pause here. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, Krishna Prabhu, I have a general question, Prabhu.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, see, is there a possibility that somebody can be inclined to specific God without any motivation? I mean, not Lord Krishna or Vishnu, any specific God without any motivation.
It is generally difficult because generally those who worship the devatas, kamaistaiste rita jnana prapadyanti anya devata. But there may be exceptions. Generally, people who are attracted by material desire approach the devatas. They don't want to approach Vishnu because Vishnu is not so quick in giving material benefits. That's what the
Yeah.
Shastra says. But if a living entity, for whatever reason, out of affection or ignorance, sometimes one has a very special attraction for a deity, whatever background, family background, whatever history. If one worships a devata without material motivation, out of genuine affection, or even thinking that he is the supreme, out of ignorance, then the devata reciprocates by giving them the real blessing. Because the devata knows this tendency of his is not, I am not the right recipient. The devata knows. The devata will guide that living entity towards Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
That's what Lord Shiva does, no? We discussed this last time, isn't it? Whoever dies in Kashi, he becomes liberated. How does he become liberated? Kashi is also one of the Moksha Puri. Yes, Puja Mataji, how does he get liberated?
Yes, because Lord Shiva whisper in the ear of the person who is dying, Ram Nam,
Yes.
and he takes the guarantee of giving the moksha.
Yes, Lord Shiva gives moksha by giving Taraka Brahmanam. Taraka Brahmanam is Ram. He goes, the person is dying in Kashi. What is Lord Shiva's gift? I give you Krishna consciousness. Ram, at the time of death. Initiated personally by Lord Shiva in Ram Nam. So there are many, many devotees, even in ISKCON, who were Shiva Bhaktas, but because they were not materialistic, the Lord arranged for them to come in contact with Krishna. Like that too.
Yeah.
So yes, it is
Right.
possible, it is rare, but if somebody does so, they will be guided by the Lord and the Devatas towards a proper understanding of whom pure love should be directed towards.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes,
I have one small question.
Yes, sure.
Prabhuji, recently we visited Nathdwara, and there we have we got the opportunity to see Lord Srinathji form, and there all the puja archana is being done by the Pustimar Vallabhacharya ji Sampradaya. And what I was trying to understand the difference between both Sampradaya, means the Gaudiya Vaishnava versus Vallabhacharya Sampradaya, what is the basic difference? And they basically talked about they follow Shuddha Advaita, which I could not understand thoroughly when I was trying to understand. So if you can just explain a little bit that way.
I'm not so expert on the Shuddha Dvaita philosophy, but you don't have to go into the nuances. So the Vedanta darshan has various darshan means vision. How truth is seen. There are slightly different visions. Vadanti tattatta vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwan. Same supreme truth seen from slightly different perspectives and may appear slightly different. So there is, of course, at one end Advaita, then there is Shuddha Advaita, there is Vishishta Advaita, then there is Dvaita Advaita, then there is Dvaita, there is Achintya Bheda Veda. These are the 6 schools. So one extreme end is, that the soul and God are one, all apparent variety of difference is all illusory. And the other end is Dvaita of Madhvacharya, which is 2, not 1, 2. Lord Chaitanya harmonizes everything by saying Achintya Bheda Abheda. Because the Vedas speak about our unity in quality, but at the same time, it is also true that we are individual independent souls, isn't it? Are we God? I mean, if anybody has even little sense, will understand. We are not. But we are part and parcel of God. So we are simultaneously one with God because nothing is outside of God. Everything is within Him. But that doesn't make us God.
True.
Right? Just because we are part of God and just because there is nothing outside of God doesn't imply I am God. That's the problem. Yes? Okay. The particle, we are part, but part doesn't become the whole. Anyway, so that's a very detailed thing. So there are slightly different versions, but as far as all the Vaishnava schools are, because other than Advaita of Shankara, all other darshans are Vaishnava darshans. It's all aimed at love, whether it is Vishishta Advaita of Ramanujacharya, Shuddha Advaita of the Vallabha Sampradaya, or it is Dvaita of the Madhva Sampradaya, or it is Achintya Bheda Ved of our Sampradaya. Even though the perspective may be slightly different, at the end of the day, what is the conclusion? As the Supreme Lord, we are His servant, we have to serve Him out of pure love and transcend the material world and go back to Godhead. If that is the same, all this slightly different variation doesn't matter. The key thing from our perspective to understand is, and so we should respect and not criticize. It's okay. They have a particular understanding and it comes from a particular bona fide parampara. We don't have to go and convince them. It is not our job to go and convince other Vaishnava schools that they are wrong and we are right. Follow? We respect them. They are Vaishnavas, we respect them. Mayavadis, we avoid hearing from them. We can preach and defeat and make them devotees, that's okay. But otherwise, we don't, yeah. But for each of these schools, their mood of devotion is different. The Radha Krishna flavor of love is different and peculiar to our line and also the Nimbarka line. Nimbarka Sampradaya also worships, which is the Kumar Sampradaya, also worships Radha Krishna. Yes. They claim connection to the Kumaras and especially Shuka. They derive inspiration from Shukadeva Goswami. So they are also into Radha Krishna worship. The Vallabha Sampradayas are mainly, the Pushti Margis are mainly into worshipping of Bal Krishna. So
Yeah,
we are
7 years
not,
old,
we,
yes.
we are not into that mood. We are not in, they are in the Vatsalya mood. Our focus is Madhurya.
Understood.
Vatsalya is there, but higher than Vatsalya is
Madhya.
Madhurya. Madhurya is Radha Krishna, Pranaya, Kriti, Ladinir Shakti Rasmat. That is the highest manifestation of love. So that's so they have an affinity for Vatsalya mood. That's why they worship small Krishna. Small Krishna worship is not in our sampradaya. It's not wrong to worship, but it's not our sampradaya mood. Okay? It's not wrong, but it's not our sampradaya mood. So we generally don't do that. But Vallabha Sampradaya, you will see everywhere Gopal, 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 carry Gopal everywhere, worship Gopal, feed Gopal, bathe Gopal. That is the mood of the Vallabha Sampradaya. Okay, Prabhu? In
Yes,
short.
sir.
The
Thank you,
nuances
Prabhuji.
of the Shuddhadvaita, I don't know on top of my head. You can research that. Yeah, Puja Mataji, you want to say something?
Yes, Prabhuji, in the continuation of same, what he's asking, there is a confusion, Prabhuji. I mean, who actually found the deity, Srinathji deity? In ISKCON, they are saying Madhavendra Puri was the one who got the deity. But as per their Pushti Marg, they claim that Vallabhacharya ji found the deity. So, what is actually correct?
We are correct. Yeah, it's okay. Let them believe whatever they want. So our Gaudiya Vaishnava understanding is what we have discussed in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Madhavendra Puri found the deity, and then eventually the Lord who was worshipped on top of the hill, eventually because of the attacks of the Muslims repeatedly on Vrindavan, the deity was moved to Nathdwara. There are some nuances of the pastime I don't recollect on top of my head. So it's okay. I mean, if they have their own version and they want to think in a particular, it's okay. We don't have to argue with them and convince them. It's fine. Sometimes it is, over all these small things, uh, as long as we have faith in our acharyas, it's fine. As long as the other person is not offending the Lord, is not speaking impersonalism, is accepting the process of bhakti, accepting devotional service, accepting that as the topmost. We don't have any problem with all these smaller things. Let them be happy. No problem.
Okay, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Sometimes in our process, in our adamant stubbornness that I am right, I know you are wrong, we just end up offending devotees. There's no point in some of these smaller things to go around arguing and trying to convince. Okay. There may be a version of their pastime, and I don't know the details, so I cannot comment on their version and whether there is a in between reconciliation between our version and their version. I do not know, so I cannot comment. Maybe there is, but I do not know. But definitely, as far as we are concerned, it's very clear that the deity was discovered by Madhavendra Puri originally, and this is the same deity which Madhavendra Puri installed on Govardhan, which is today in Nathdwara. On that, uh, our understanding is very clear. We don't have any two opinions. How exactly Sri Vallabhacharya Path, who is a pure devotee of the Lord, how he got involved in that pastime, those details I am personally not aware of. I am sure there is some truth to it, but where is the gray area and what is their interpretation of that, I do not know. But that's okay.
Actually,
Sometimes,
Prabhuji,
sometimes the other thing is, just one quick point, sometimes the other thing is, we are so linear in our thinking. We are so linear in our thinking. Actually, there is nothing that Krishna cannot do. So, for example, for example, these are very far out. See, spiritual truths are so far out. We are so caught up in the material concept, we cannot even fathom how opposite, seemingly opposite spiritual statements can simultaneously be true and there's no problem. For example, I'll just tell you one thing. Who's Ramananda Rai? Eternally.
One of the Manjari.
Who is he? Huh? Nobody remembers. Okay, so Ramananda Rai is Vishakha Sakhi. But he's not only Vishakha Sakhi, he's also Arjun. Huh? So his Vishakha Sakhi also is also Arjun. Now, does it mean Vishakha Sakhi is equal to Arjun? No. So how can he be both? Because both personalities are simultaneously present within the body and personality of Ramananda Rai. And there are many other personalities where more than one great personality is simultaneously present to experience the Lila. Now, for our mind, we cannot even fathom that. That will sound like a haunting of somebody. Somebody is occupying my body. So many spiritual truths we cannot fathom with our material mind. So there's a very wonderful statement. Achintya khalu ya bhava anatam starkena yuje. Those things which are considered achintya, inconceivable, because of them being on the spiritual platform. Spiritual logic and material logic don't tally. Spiritual thing on the spiritual plane, so many things are possible which we materially cannot logically resolve or understand. Natam starkena yujet. We cannot figure that out. These things are realized and understood only when we ourselves transcend it and reach that platform. So that's why at some point we accept what Shastra says, we accept what Acharya says without the necessary precondition that my intelligence must be able to fathom it. Only then I accept. Because your intelligence is based on your material experience. Your logic is based on your material experience. And material experience and logic doesn't apply to transcendental subject matter. Okay? Yeah. Sorry, Puja Mother, you were saying something?
Just Prabhuji, just I wanted to add on. Even Chat GPT also got confused when I tried to ask whether it's Madhvendra Puri or I mean Vallabhacharya ji.
Because devotees are confused, ChatGPT is confused because it derives its knowledge from whatever people have discussed. Never mind. Yeah. And Mataji, the important thing for us to understand as devotees is it is not understanding this subject matter and establishing which out of this is true is what is going to take us back to Godhead. Our pure devotional service to Krishna, free from material desire, our service attitude, our attachment to holy name is what is going to take us back to Godhead. Not our detailed, perfect knowledge of certain information or facts or even philosophical understanding. So, while these things have their place in terms of spiritual understanding and philosophy, a person who is mature in spiritual understanding doesn't get too carried away by these kind of arguments and other things. That's why you see the Goswamis were not too excited about all these arguments. I have to prove I am wrong, I am right, and everybody else is wrong. Their attempt, even when they would preach, would to be actually transform hearts. What is the objective that we want? Our objective is not to defeat people. Radhanath Maharaj oftentimes mentions our objective is not to defeat people. Our objective is to win over their heart by making them want to surrender to Krishna, want to love Krishna. And our own success in life is also to increase our love towards Krishna, our attachment. So that is our final guiding principle. Sometimes you may feel, Prabhu, I cannot understand some of these things. It's okay. Nobody can understand. Even the greatest of Paramhamsas in the Bhagavatam are saying, Krishna, I cannot understand you. Why you are feeling so bad about I can't understand? Brahma is saying, oh Krishna, I can't understand you. If somebody says I can understand you, let them say, but I am telling you I can't understand. Brahma is admitting why we have to be so proud that we have to figure out everything by intelligence. The ultimate point for us is, are we actually having faith, even though we may not understand, because Guru and Krishna and the Shastra is saying it, sadhus are saying it. And it's okay if we don't understand. As long as we have faith in the essential conclusions, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, devotional service is the topmost process, the highest goal of spiritual practice is prema. We have faith in the goal, we have faith in the means, we are all set. Okay. Hari.
We have faith in you, Prabhuji.
You have faith in, not in me, you have faith in what I am saying. Because
Yes.
what I am saying is what I have heard from the parampara, and I am just trying to repeat it. So we are all connected to the same source. It may be coming, the message may be coming from wherever. If we can somehow serve and please the great devotees of the Lord, then all mercy will come our way. So even when we deal with devotees from other sampradayas, we must not take a condescending attitude. I am superior, you are inferior, you are wrong, you don't know, I know, this is better, that is better. When you meet with Vaishnavas of other traditions, if they are genuinely following their own sampradaya, just show them proper respect, proper affection. We nourish their faith, we don't contradict their faith. As long as it is in the Supreme Lord, as long as it is in Bhakti, let them follow their path, no problem. We follow ours. They want to worship Narayan, they are happy worshipping Narayan, okay. They worship Bal Gopal, it's okay. To convince them. Sometimes we think, I have to convince them, your worship is lower than my worship. Actually, it becomes an ego issue. We just want to say, I am better than you. Right? So all these things don't impress Krishna. Krishna doesn't like all this. Krishna likes humble service attitude. Okay. Thank you very much. Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta jai, Hari Bol. Madan Mohan, Hare Krishna, Shri Devi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you so
Krishna,
much.
Prabhuji.
Hari Bol. Nagaraj Prabhu, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna
Vinod,
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat pranam.
Hari Bol. Dandavad.
Hare
Sakhi
Krishna,
Ranga
Prabhu.
Devi Mataji,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Hari
Prabhu. Thank you.
Bol. Amit, Hari Bol. Neha ji, Sini Mataji, Sridhar Prabhu, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Neha
Thank
ji,
you, Prabhu.
Suraj, Tarun.
Hare Krishna,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you all. So I will see you all on next Saturday.